Hello everyone, and welcome back to When Girls Talk Books. I'm Kylie.
I'm Susie.
And today we have a special episode. We are joined by Jordan and Allysha from the podcast Tales Over Tales.
Hello. Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you. This is exciting.
I am very excited.
I'm like, yay, we have friends.
So I will say Jordan was like one of the first people to reach out to us and be like, I'm so excited for you. Like just warmth, which I think is a little bit hard sometimes. I think, sometimes it can be competitive and you don't really feel that. So I was like, oh my gosh. So I was very excited when we started being like, let's collaborate because you guys were just so kind to us. And I was like, oh, I love them.
Other people believe in us. We can do this.
Well, thank you. No, that means a lot. And I am totally, I am all for making bookish friends, and I'm not here to compete at all. We love your guys' content so much, and we appreciate the opportunity to dive into this series with you because it's a roller coaster.
Yeah.
That's for dang
It's
sure.
a dumpster fire for sure.
A little bit.
So this episode we're going to be doing Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. And this is Gossip Girl, high society, London, drama, toxic mess.
100%.
Really, is what it is.
100%.
Pretty much. If you are here for a moral compass, you may want to look
Ain't
the
gonna
other
find
way.
Yes,
You're not
please
gonna find it
leave
here.
this episode.
So I think we should start out with kind of our ratings on what we rated the book.
Okay.
I'm going to go last.
Allysha, why don't you kick us off?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So this was a little tough for me because I enjoyed the book. I really did. Of course, we'll dive into all of the details of what, of course, irritated us. But I think I'll give it a solid 4 out of 5. I think that's where I'm at.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that was the same that I gave it to. While obviously some of the toxic relationships that we're going to dive into and talk about were obviously frustrating, I personally appreciated the writing. I think that Jessa Hastings is a really good writer. I loved the pining. I loved the banter. I loved the dynamics of it. You really could feel like you were in it. She was
100%.
super descriptive, and that's a huge thing to me as a reader. So I gave it 4 out of 5.
Nice.
Sumagu?
I'm a jerk. I'm going to give this a solid 3 out of 5.
A 3? That's higher than I thought. I'm not going to lie.
That counts. I
She
don't
was right.
think
The ending was
2.5
good.
and
I got to
less,
the
I would
ending
say you're a
last
jerk.
night.
3,
Yeah.
you're good.
Yeah, you're fine.
But yeah, it took me till like here to like I was like I'll push through, like, okay, I'm like, don't be a jerk, you don't have to love everything. But yeah, so that's mine. 3 out of 5. I will give the rest of the series like a shot for sure, because I'm sure it'll just get better.
You have
Yeah.
no choice. But
Yeah, I have no choice.
She texted me like, does this get any better?
Yeah.
No, Allysha did the same thing to me, I
Yeah.
think, as well.
Okay, good. I'm
I
not
did.
alone.
I was like, please tell me there is like a point where this madness just like stops somewhere and it
Fair.
gets better.
I want off
Yeah.
this ride.
Well, more like, okay, I'm gonna complain. Like, the ride was all right, but it needed to be messier. Like, if you're already gonna be messy, like, let's go. Like, I was
Yeah.
complaining to her.
Said
I'm
go
like,
Bring
big
it
or
up
go
and
home.
say it.
And did
Well,
you
this
really
book
go
is too-
big? Susie said go big or go home. And
Exactly.
did you really go big?
So this was actually a reread for me. I read this probably a few years ago, and when I first read it, I was like enthralled in this. Here's the thing about me. I love a toxic, messy book. I just do, okay? I don't want it in my real life, so I want to read about it, though. Yeah. So even as a reread, I still did rate this 5 stars. Like, this is a book, like, the vibes are so there. I loved it. I loved everything about it, if we're going to be honest. Would I entertain this in real life? Absolutely not. But I want to read about it.
I was like,
This is also why I watch Real Housewives. I'm with you 100%.
Exactly.
If I can watch trash TV, I can read a trash book. It makes me feel a little bit like, it does make me feel a little bit better about myself.
100%.
Your life, you're like, all right. And then kind of what you were saying, Jordan, my big thing with it was like the tension.
Yes.
Magnolia and BJ, like
So
before,
good.
like
It was really
specifically
good.
in the beginning, it's like, oh, there's stuff happening. Like, girls are fighting, you know, like that's kind of what you got.
No, really.
Are we going to talk about the found family aspect first, or are we going to talk about Tom England being thrown in the mix first? Where are we going to go?
I love Tom. I'm like, we could just talk about Tom the whole episode.
Yeah.
No, but same.
So
Susie said, Tom bumped this rating up for me from
Tom
a 2.5
saved the book.
to
If
a
it wasn't
3.
for Tom, I would have been struggling. Just, oh my God.
No, I can understand. Do we think in real life that like Magnolia should have ended up with Tom? There's a controversial hot take.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. I think
I would have chosen Tom in a heartbeat.
Also,
Yeah,
very
bless that
unpopular
man.
opinion. Maybe she should have just ended up alone. Like,
No.
take a little time, grow up a little, honey. Like,
Did you read
Now,
it? We're
see,
not
if
about
she had just
healing
chosen
here.
Tom, there wouldn't be 5 books.
true.
True.
Okay.
So I guess there's that.
Yeah.
But Allysha, you liked Tom too.
Oh yeah, bless that man. Like what man? I know that they had their circumstance, they had like their situation that they were kind of going along with being in this relationship. But what man would actually stick by a woman that was crazy in love with another man and watching this toxicity just completely unfold in front of his eyes? Like
Yeah.
that is why Tom just has my heart, because I'm like, dude,
You have to be
really?
so secure in
and
yourself.
then I deeply felt for him because he's in love with his brother's widow.
Yeah.
When I got to that, I was like, what?
That was a little bit of a red flag there. I was
Yeah.
like,
Was it? I guess, yeah.
no.
I guess.
Mm-mm.
Like,
Like, imagine
Kylie
that
said
happening
no.
in real life, though. Can you imagine if, like, you met somebody and they're like, yep, old Becky over here, yep. She was married to my brother, but I want that. Like, absolutely not. Okay, nice to meet you. Have a great day.
I guess you're right. I don't know. Can we talk about how rich everyone is?
Oh,
Too?
Can't relate.
what did you say yesterday? They all got daddy's
they all
black
got
card.
daddy's black credit card and driving around in Audis must be nice.
Yeah.
Living in penthouses.
How many times was it referenced that everybody has their own plane?
Oh my
Yeah.
God! More than the Kardashians talking about theirs and ride on
I know,
theirs.
and Tom flies his own plane, so
yeah.
you know,
Oh.
there's that.
Tom is
That
just a
would have
dream
had
boat.
me from the beginning. Does BJ fly his own plane?
No.
No,
I don't care.
because he's a little sniveling baby boy.
No,
Okay.
he's too drunk and too high to fly his own
Yeah.
plane. That's where we're at with
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I didn't feel for him. Like when the whole, and I mean, maybe this is a little bit of a trigger warning for you listeners, like the drug addiction, the suicidal ideation, like I deeply felt for him through all of that as well. And to your point, Susie, though, I had the same thought about BJ. I was like, poor baby boy. Like
Poor
you
boy
are
keeps making bad
child.
decisions. Oh, you're suffering consequences. Poor thing. Like,
But I feel like that's something that they're not like, that's just something that doesn't click in their heads. Like when there's a consequence to something, they pout. And it's like, no, you do get consequences for your actions. Like, don't pout just because you're a big, rich, billionaire or whatever. Like, no, you're a person who has struggles and like everyone else, and you just have to deal with it.
Literally.
no.
Yeah.
Not allowed. I'm going to go to
Go learn to fly your own
Amsterdam.
plane, BJ.
Right.
I'm going to go to Amsterdam, get blasted, almost die, and come back and act like nothing happened. So, what do you mean
Right.
consequences?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
So, also, BJ and Magnolia are also obviously the main point. They were together as kids. They broke up because BJ cheated on her, and she doesn't really know who it is throughout the entire book for the most part.
Yeah, the book, like, waited the whole...
And she thinks it's Tara Sachs. Yeah, that's her name.
Yep.
I felt so bad for her. She's like
I
so
know.
mean to her, and then you find it's not her, and so it's just like, oh, I felt bad for her. Also, Magnolia and Christian get together.
That was... Ooh.
Everybody's in love with Magnolia.
I know. I will say I'm excited to learn a little bit more about Christian in the next book and whatnot as well. I want to know a little.
I know. I know.
I'm so curious. I want to know more too.
Oh. Well,
I just kind of, I don't know. I thought he was kind of a jerk, if we're going to be honest. Like, he just kept, like, getting drunk and making snide comments. And I get that's kind of like this
Like
crew's
BJ?
whole thing. I know.
Okay, is that everybody?
Ah,
Guys,
not
like,
Tom.
just give me a second.
not Tom.
True.
Not Julian.
Facts.
He's off
saying.
flying his plane.
Well, like, I would have chosen Tom in a heartbeat, if we're going to be honest. But
We can all agree.
Yeah. So there's also like the plot line of like BJ being really jealous, like Christian is still around and he makes these comments, or like him and Magnolia have like these little moments, and that whole thing, I'm like, ugh, get over yourself. Like, you cheated on Magnolia, so then her and Christian started hanging out because she didn't have any friends really, and then things kindled. Like, you know, the big thing in this was like you no longer get to decide how each other lives their lives in a way. Like, you have this relationship, but in all reality you don't. Like, you're not together. You don't get to like be jealous about this or get pissed off and make a whole scene because Christian made one comment about something. Like, that I really hated. I wasn't a big fan of that whole.
Yeah.
I would have
There
preferred
was
if that
this-
would have not been in there, honestly.
There was this sense of the whole like found family thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then also at the same time, they do all seem to be so self-involved, honestly, that like it's like you all like went to boarding school together and you bonded and connected, and also though too, like you've all got your own, like, you're in it for yourself. You've all got your own self-interest. And
Like, I
that,
don't know if you actually like each other, if we're going to be totally honest. Like,
I literally I was like, do
And I feel like-
you even like each other?
I feel like it's kind of like a rite of passage almost through that age group, because the age group that they're writing about kind of makes sense though, because that's when you're kind of figuring out who you are, because you're not a teenager anymore, you're learning to be a grown-up, you got family pressure, you got all, so I guess not disagreeing, just I'm like, okay, it kind of makes sense why they made it so like this, and I'm glad that if they were going to make it like this, they made the characters really self-centered, kind of immature, because like wise young people, that'd be boring.
well, and Tom is older, so that would make sense that he is a little bit more sophisticated, mature, he's got his stuff together.
Not as emotionally reactive.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, it was just such a weird dynamic with them because they were all like okay with hanging out one minute, and then they would get stupid drunk and they were telling each other to like piss off, or they were like fighting, and we're like, wait, I'm so confused on what's happening with these people. It was definitely such a weird dynamic with everybody, and it was hard to tell like who likes who, like who's actually friends with who.
Well, because it also seemed like it would change. Like it also seemed like at the drop of a hat, right? Like at the drop of a dime. I mean, and when you've known each other for several years, or you've been such close friends too, like, I mean, Kylie and Susie, I know you two have known each other, obviously, for many, many years. So have Allysha and I. Recently, we even went back and looked through our yearbooks. And Allysha had written something in my yearbook like, I'm sorry for what happened last year.
Yeah, like we had a fallout, and we're like, what?
Each other, I was like, what'd you do?
What did we do? I know.
What did you do? What did I do? What happened? Do you even remember what happened? He's like,
Nope.
So it
no.
is true. Every female long-term friendship has
Yeah.
that, like, so we just like didn't talk for a year and like just never.
We
got it
had
back up.
that like 2 years ago,
Yep.
honestly.
Yep.
Like, we just like didn't talk, but it was probably the best thing to ever happen to our friendship.
I grew up
Like-
so much.
Well, and just like the communication and stuff like that. Like now, we have like incredible open communication. Of,
Yeah.
like, didn't like that, you know, or
Yep.
like, hey, if you want to do this, no biggie
No.
if you can't. Like,
Yep.
so I think that falling out actually
It
helped.
like made us stronger. But it's true.
No, that's a good segue into the adults in this book, the adults, and example
Who?
or lack thereof.
Yeah. None to be found here.
So we have like Magnolia's nanny, essentially. Who
Yep.
is that? I wrote her down here. Marsali.
Marcelly?
Marsali. I kept being like Marsala, so I went Marsali.
Martha Slut.
Oh,
been
Lisa.
With
I'm
her
just
dad for years.
What? I'm sorry. I'm not sorry, but I'm not sorry.
Like they were, like all of the stereotypes. They were just like, so we've heard that there's like the following stereotypes. Let's do it. And I'm like,
Yeah. So the dad and the nanny have been together for years, right?
Yeah.
Were we that shocked? Were we that surprised?
I was actually. I
I
kind of
was too. Yeah.
I was a little. I think I was more shocked by how long it had been going on.
Yeah.
Like, because once I found out, it was like, oh, okay, yeah. And then Magnolia didn't know anything. But then to find out, like, and then didn't even Magnolia's mom know?
No. She
No,
didn't know.
she didn't know.
She like packs her bag. She's out. She's not messing around with this guy no more.
but they
So
didn't
it's like
like
a whole
have
thing.
a very good marriage to begin
Yeah.
with.
Right.
That's the part that,
Yeah, no,
it was
because
like,
when that whole thing just kind of came out, it clicked in my head because I'm like, Magnolia's in her 20s. Why is her nanny still around? And why
Yeah.
is she still, why is she still there? They're all grown. Like, even her sister is practically an adult too. And then come to find out that was why. I was like, oh, that's why she's been hanging around a little too long. So,
Yeah.
I really
gosh.
liked.
I can
her
understand
sister.
the sense of betrayal that Magnolia felt. For
Yeah.
sure.
And I'm also like, we just kind of, like, she forgives her, not 100%, but she really kind of gets over it kind of fast. And just like,
I mean,
miss
she
you,
calls her out on the
da-da-da-da.
hypocrisy of the situation
Yeah,
because
definitely.
I was
when
like,
BJ
yes.
cheated on Magnolia and Marcelly is like, have nothing to do with him, like,
Yeah.
cut him out, you can do so much better. And she's literally like, okay, but my dad?
Yeah.
Like,
Fine.
Really?
You're cut out. You're done.
You're done.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think one of my BJ Magnolia feel moments actually here is when she finds this all out and Tom is there and he like takes her to BJ and I'm like, see, like even he knows that that's what she needs, which is also like Tom is just an amazing person.
True.
But I'm
Yeah.
like,
no.
see, they can see it, and then they fly to Greece because that's what you do when your world is falling apart.
Yeah.
Right?
Apparently. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got it all
I
wrong.
would read Tom's book. I want Tom's book.
Yeah, me too.
Where's Tom's book?
I don't know, but I would like it. So then Tom flies them all to Greece, and Magnolia invites BJ on a date.
Such a weird. This was so weird. Okay, this whole trip
Right
was
in front of
weird.
Tom.
This whole thing, I was just like, okay. I had secondhand embarrassment for a book.
Fair.
Yeah. This is what you do when you have money,
True.
I guess. I'm past attempting to rationalize it at this point, to
Fair.
be completely
Yeah.
And kind of
to rationalize or justify.
Right.
Magnolia and Tom are kind of like starting to like each other at this point too. Like
Yeah.
there's definitely something there. It's not as intense as BJ and her, but she's definitely like starting to recognize
She's
him
not trauma bonded to Tom yet. Like she
as
is
like a
BJ.
comfort blanket or
Yeah.
she says like an oxygen mask at some time. Like he's just always there for her, and I'm like, when I first read this the first time, I was like, I want her and Tom to get together. I've read 1,000 romance books. I know this is not how this is gonna go.
And then I think that was around the same time, like on that date that BJ and Magnolia go on that you're talking about. I think that's around the same time, like she presses him for an answer, like, why did you do this? Why did this happen? Because I wanted to.
Yeah.
I shut the book. I'm like,
I got so mad.
I thought this was the worst part too, but no.
I don't think we could ever really
We'll get there.
understand, like, his thought process. Like, I don't get it. You cheat on Magnolia, and then you just go on this girl after girl after girl for years spree, and then she, like, you guys are finally starting to, like, rekindle things, and she asks you why it happened. Bro, you could have made something up. You could have made something up, but you said, because I wanted to.
Yeah.
Smarmy weasel. Such a smarmy
And
weasel.
then at the end of the book, when we find out who it was with,
there's no coming back for me for BJ.
I was like, I'm done. I couldn't at that point. I was like,
okay. But also, before we spoil that for listeners,
Yeah.
because I know that we're going to,
yes.
can we visit Sexual Education Corner with Jordan for just a second? Emphasize, if you're going to have sex with that many people, like, please, I don't even know what he was or wasn't doing to take care of himself. That's all I'm saying. I'm just going to put that out there and say, like,
I'm sure he's getting tested on the regular, honestly.
Would you not? I mean, you should be. You absolutely should be.
Yeah.
Okay, we can move on.
But we are talking about a young man here, so I actually highly doubt he's testing himself, getting tested at all, or caring.
Hence the reason we needed to visit Sexual Education Corner. We'll just,
Yep.
We'll pretend we took BJ there. We had our conversation, did our due diligence.
We sat him down like a young man and said, listen here. So a big thing in the book is, like, Magnolia dates men so that way she doesn't get back together with BJ, but she never sleeps with anybody. She's only ever slept with BJ, doing other things, specifically with Christian, but she never sleeps with anybody. But after this date, and after she sees BJ, like, making out with the bartender, her and Tom do sleep together. What, like, I don't know how you could feel good about that. Like, this was also kind of a thing I kind of thought a little bit differently of Tom, of, like, you know where she's at emotionally. And I get that it was consented, but I'd felt a little icky about it.
You're older enough to know better.
Like, she came into your arms and she's sobbing and crying about BJ, and then you guys,
yeah.
Hi?
Yeah. I don't know if I felt icky about it or not. I mean, I guess maybe a little bit. And to your point, Kylie, the issue wasn't consent. At that point, it was just more like, is this really the right decision?
Yeah.
But again, anybody looking for a book with a strong moral compass need not apply.
And then she's thinking of BJ the entire time.
Goes to see him after. I was just like, girl, WTF. Like, get it together. Just a little bit.
Let's unpack that for a second. Why did she tell him?
Huh?
My whole thing, the thing that made me ick about this whole scene when she is doing it with him, what she was thinking about BJ the entire time. She was like recounting his tattoos.
Kylie, was that the part of it that was giving you the ick too? I can see that. Now you're reminding me, and now I'm like, maybe I did feel a little minor ick about it.
I was like, because I was listening to this. Mind you, I was at work when I was listening to this, but anyway.
Should you be saying that on the recording?
It's fine. And I was like, do I fast forward this? Like, I don't know if I can deal with this while I'm at work.
30 seconds. Still going 30 seconds.
Still going on. 30 seconds.
Oh my
yeah.
goodness.
The tattoo thing got me. I'm like, okay. All right. Sure.
Yeah, I'm good.
But yeah, then she goes to BJ's room and she's like crying. I'm so sorry. And he's like, what happened? And then he like smells Tom on her or whatever. and is like, oh.
I just can't.
And then she's like apologizing to BJ. Did we not forget what happened?
He's beat
Did we
her
forget what
down
happened
so
during
well
the day?
that there she is apologizing for the behavior that he thinks should be excused for himself.
Yeah,
Yes.
I was like, oh.
Yep.
And then the bartender comes out of his room, and she's like, "You never touch me again, or
I'm
whatever.
so
You'll
surprised
never speak
this
to me."
absolute POS cheater is being a POS cheater. Shock!
Shocking.
Sorry.
No,
Yeah.
All aboard the BJ train. Boo boo!
I'm not on the BJ train. I have conflicted feelings, but I've also read enough romance to know where this is gonna go.
Okay.
He is going to
Sure.
have his
Yeah.
redemption tour. Let's be real. Magnolia's gonna have the front seat. Like, we all
can't-
know where this is going. Let's be for real.
Now I'm sad.
There's a bunch of in between, but
Oh my goodness.
you
Yeah.
gotta give him a little break. So after that, Magnolia and Tom say, "Yes, I like you too." And Tom says, "I'm gonna throw my hat in the ring then." And I'm like,
I know, like,
Oh yeah. I did like that. And don't BJ and Tom even have a conversation too?
yeah.
Like
And then
kind of like a may the best man win sort of situation.
Yeah. And like the big thing with them is like BJ has to respect Tom in some way. Like, and Tom is just a very respectful person, so he kind of gives BJ that same courtesy. But like BJ is hot shit within his age group, but Tom is like the bigger bad, the bigger good, I guess you could say. Like he's even more than BJ is, so he can't even like be threatened really, because he's like, I get it. Like, hey,
yeah.
I get it.
Right.
But then Jonah and BJ have a conversation, and he tells BJ just to kiss Magnolia.
Yeah, which that felt like it was out of nowhere. But okay.
That
Sure.
felt like such a high school, I don't even know. It was just such a childish way for him to be like, "Oh, if you want her back, just kiss her."
Yeah.
And, you know, like, it'll be
'Cause that's
fine.
gonna
And
do
then
it.
you guys will figure everything out.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay.
Because they've been sleeping in the bed together for the past couple years, but not actually, like, doing anything.
I will never believe that.
Unhealthy attachments.
There's no way.
They snuggle. So that was a really weird thing. I was like, okay. And then he does. Like, they have this whole thing in the dressing room while she's, like, picking out clothes.
Yep. And
At
Okay.
that point, I was like, okay, she definitely just like loves the attention. Like, she just doesn't want to have to choose and knows she doesn't have to. So like, okay,
Because
get
there's
it, girl.
so many men. There's so many men. There's
Yeah.
BJ, there's Christian, there's Tom, there's Julian, realistically.
I think that she also, at the end of the day, wants to be chosen herself.
Yes.
Definitely.
Too, though. And based off of everything that BJ has done throughout their relationship since cheating on her, she doesn't feel chosen by the one person that she wants to feel chosen by.
And then you also
Right.
have to think she's definitely got like some parent issues. Like her parents are not really around. She was raised by the nanny. Like her mom is kind of absent. Her dad is literally like not there most of the time because he does movies. Or
There's
whatever.
a story about how when they were in boarding school and they didn't even call her on
birthday,
her
right?
16th birthday.
Yeah.
But so they go to a dinner, and then there's like this whole scene with Christian and Daisy, and you find out that Christian is still in love with Magnolia, and then BJ does his BJ thing, and he like flies off the handle, and then they have a conversation, and Christian is like, I have to talk to Magnolia, I have to talk to her because she's there. It's a, it's a whole scene, another dramatic effect.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then Daisy is like, I'm not going to be like your placeholder for her, essentially. And I was like, okay. So then, because this book and Daisy Hades like coincide together. They're like happening at the same time. So you're
I
getting-
didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's like her
gotcha.
perspective.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because you'll be
Yeah.
reading the book and then you'll realize that there are some parts in Daisy Hates that happen in Magnolia Parks already. You just get Daisy's or Christian's like point of view from it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So
Cool,
that I'm pretty interested in, as far as like there's definitely little things that you get from Daisy Hades that you're like, oh, okay, like that makes more sense. So then Christian does go and him and Magnolia have a conversation about it, and it's essentially like Christian's like, I need to be done with you, you know, I'm in love with you, and she's like, I loved you too at some point, and
You need
he's
to
like,
let me.
he's like, not the same way. And
Mhm.
so he's like, you need to like not call me for things. Like if you wouldn't call, I think it was Jonah. If you wouldn't call Jonah, don't call me. Like,
Yeah.
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 and then BJ's using again because he has zero emotional regulation. And so he's like, Christian's in love with Magnolia. I'm going to do drugs again. Right.
Yeah.
Normal response.
And can we just talk about really quick, because I feel like he's not brought up in this conversation. I feel so bad for Henry.
Oh, I love
my
Henry.
Yeah. That's BJ's brother, right?
Yeah, his
brother.
little brother.
Yeah.
Because
And
him
who's, like,
and
best
Magnolia
friends.
were friends first.
Yeah.
They were the best of friends, and he has to watch this turmoil. You know, he has to like pick his battles. He either has to take Magnolia's side on some things or BJ's, and then he has to watch his brother like go through this turmoil with his addiction, with the drinking and the drugs, and Magnolia
Yeah.
is like his addiction too.
Yeah.
And so we have to like we get bits and pieces of his side of all of this too. And my heart just totally breaks for
Oh my
him.
gosh.
I feel,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, I couldn't, I don't know.
You're so right. Justice for
Yeah.
Henry.
Yeah,
Literally.
seriously, yeah.
He's probably the one like majorly sane character in all of this that tries to like not only keep the peace but remain super like Switzerland neutral.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
I do
her
think
side, I see his side. I'm
Mhm.
trying to like
I do think a lot of times, because to be totally honest, a lot of stuff is BJ's fault, honestly.
Yeah.
It is.
I do think he kind of tries to keep BJ in place when it comes to Magnolia.
Yeah.
Like when
Yeah.
he's
He
going
does.
too far, I think he's the one to kind of be like,
Voice of
you
reason.
have to stop, like relax, you know?
Yep.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Henry.
I know.
But so then Magnolia and BJ have this whole fight again. She's done with him. Da 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 da. It's like in the street or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh my god.
They
Yeah.
have these little like screaming matches at each other, and I can like picture it so vividly.
I know.
Like they're
Oh,
screaming
yeah.
matches of like, I'm done with you, and her tears are going, and then Tom punches BJ during this part.
Yes.
I love this part.
I
Especially
me
the
too. I was
that's
like,
enough.
yes.
And I'm like, oh, it's coming. He's going to hit him. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and you know, like Tom was itching. Like
Oh yeah.
even in that conversation where they're like, all right, like may the best man win, you got to know in the back of their minds both of them are thinking like, oh, I'm just waiting for you
Yeah.
to step a toe out of line.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
the moment you do, like
I'm
Coming after
coming.
you. Yeah.
I'm there.
Yeah. I think at the same time, like it had to be Tom, because I could never see BJ like trying to punch Tom because he's
No.
such a man. Like BJ's
Well, and
a little
Tom's,
bit of
like,
a boy.
Really tall and stuff in
Yeah.
the book. So like I can imagine BJ being like,
I'm gonna punch you if I can reach you.
like
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Well, and I think that BJ respects Tom too much.
Yeah.
He looks up to him too much. That there's also like this pride thing
Yeah.
of like, oh no, like, and there's even a couple of parts from BJ's perspective where he's literally like, Magnolia should choose Tom. Magnolia should be with Tom. Like, he's a much better choice than,
Mhm.
And you're like,
you know,
yep.
so.
self-awareness.
So
But he
there
really
is-
doesn't have.
So there are some synapses in their firing.
Mhm.
Okay, good.
Little
Only
bit.
a few.
Yeah.
Kylie says only a few.
Okay, so they meet. Magnolia and BJ meet at her Devon house or whatever, the same time every single year. And it's a
Yes.
special day. I never caught on to like what that actually meant.
Are we talking about the oh my gosh, yeah, what was that special day?
I
Like,
never understood it. Like, I got that they kind of like fooled around under a tree or whatever. But then it was like, and BJ says like, this is always a hard day for me or something like that. And I never really like understood why this was a thing. Like, maybe I missed it.
I kind of missed it too. I was confused. At first I was like, is it like that kind of anniversary? And then I was like, is it?
But it's not, because we hear that story.
Oh, that's true. So it's not.
yeah,
I don't really get it either.
Do you remember, Allysha?
No, I know. I was in the
remember.
same boat as you guys. I'm like, what day are they talking about? Did someone die that we missed? Like, was it? But I have no idea. Like, was it when they first got together? Was it just like a memory that they had? Like, I have no idea.
Viewers,
Okay.
when
Yeah.
you find
I'm glad
out,
I'm
tell
not
us.
the only
Comment
one.
below.
Because I was like, huh? Okay, sure. Like, so then this brings them back together because they're not done with each other as much as they would like to say. And then they get like together. So then they're like, we're going to do this thing. And she breaks up with Tom.
The whole time, I'm like, no, I have put up with so much in this book, and I was finally gonna get like a shred of happiness. And then of course she breaks up with him, and then of course he's really sweet about it, and of course he's really fucking, what is it? He was right.
So if
pissed.
Susie, I have a question for you.
Yes.
If Magnolia had chosen Tom, would this be a 4 or 5 star book for you instead of a 3?
Would have been a 7, 9, 44. Like,
But she's like, bring the drama to a 10, though.
yeah. So I'm like, I hope Tom comes
Yeah.
back. Like, I hope this isn't the last of him.
Oh,
I
was
hope
so
it's
sad.
not.
And he
I
says
hope
he's going to hurt you again.
Yep.
Like, he's going to do this again.
And I'm
That's
like,
right.
You're right, Tom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are we ready for the bombshell?
I know.
Allysha, would you like to tell us the bombshell that we find out at the end of the book?
Oh my God, Allysha.
so we find out. Oh my gosh. I was so mad. Again, I was listening to this while I was at work. Okay. I was committed to just like finishing this book at this point. I was listening to it at work and I threw my phone, which, yeah, I do that quite often. I will throw a book, I will throw my phone. But it turns out, I think I like chucked it behind me. I was like,
that turns off your audiobook.
yeah. But then we find out it's her best friend.
Paley.
We're like, Paley.
Yeah.
Like, the
Unforgivable. Again, never coming back for BJ.
No.
I know. And I was like,
And the fact that he really thought he was just going to get away with never saying it. Like,
right.
And there's no reason. There's no action. Like, it literally is because he wanted to.
Yeah.
They were like at a party and she like fell on top of him. And
that
then they're like,
friend, that is a next level piece of, I mean,
Exactly.
that is
And for
below
the fact
gutter.
that she was
Like,
and for the fact that this whole time she was like
consoling
being
her.
her friend.
Yes.
And,
and like
But
no,
to make matters worse, Jonah knew.
yes.
Jonah knew. And he said,
Yep.
we're never going to talk about this. If anybody else asks, like, me and Pally hooked up, you did that, like, you went home or whatever, he said. I don't know. But he, like, came up with this master plan. And BJ's like, I have to tell her. And he's like, you're not going to say anything. Like, you can tell her it happened, but you can't tell her, like, what it was. Yeah.
So
Did
then
y'all
here's
lose
the
a little
kicker.
bit of respect for Jonah when that happened? Because up until that
Oh.
point, I was like,
Those aren't your
Jonah's
friends.
cool. I don't
didn't really
mind
like
Jonah.
I didn't really like him.
it's like none of them are her friend. Like, none of them
No,
are.
they're
That's
not.
what-
And so here's my question. So obviously after everything happened, BJ did go to Magnolia to tell her that he slept with someone else. And we know that he's not really a mature person. Do you think that, I know, right? Shocking, I know. But do we think that if it wasn't for her going completely ballistic, which of course was definitely like, okay, we get it.
Like about
Do you think he would have told her though if she would have?
I do.
like-
I do, because they
do.
have a thing about lying to each other. So I don't think I think he would have told her if Jonah had never said, like, we're not saying anything about this, da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
Because, like, the guilt does kind of eat him alive in a way. And that's, like, why he's doing all these things. Granted, these were his actions, and they chose to do it. Both of them, they chose to do this. And it was good. So I like to think that he would have told her.
From my own experience, they never will tell you until they are threatened by the other person that knows.
Mm.
Like, they're not going to tell you. And especially not a piece of trash like BJ. Like, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would like to think that, yeah, maybe Jonah just had too strong of a hold on BJ that he like convinced him not to. But to
Yeah.
Alicia's point as well, and to your point, Kylie, like they had this thing about not lying to each other,
Mhm.
right? And like,
And he
But
doesn't
he was lying
lie.
the whole book.
No, he never lies. He doesn't tell her who it is, but he never lies to her.
But that's still being dishonest. But I get it. Like,
But he's not lying.
politician-wise, it's not a lie.
Yeah.
It's withholding
it's
information.
omitting the
but, like,
truth.
Yeah.
it's dishonesty
It's-
on both of
Yeah.
them. The
Yeah.
other friend,
Yeah.
the girl, could have come
And-
forward, and she never did either.
And like
so
Magnolia
it's on her too.
would never guess it would be her best friend. So she's not like, was it Pally? I think if she would have asked him that, he would have told her. He would have said
Yeah.
yes. And it would have been this whole thing, and I get that, but like he does never lie to her. He just
Yeah.
says it wasn't Tara, you know, it happened at a party, I was drunk and I wanted to do it.
And they all clearly like don't respect her at all because they're hanging out and going into doing stuff, and both of them are there all the time. I'm like, you two literally have no soul.
Like they're together
literally
all the
no soul.
time.
Yeah.
All the time around Magnolia. They're
Yeah.
watching these things happen. That girl, she gets no redemption. She
No.
like
None.
to sit with Magnolia after this happens and to like cry with her and console her and like all this and then you start to like go back and think about like the conversations they had together and how Pally is always like, you know, BJ does love you, da 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 da. And it's like
You connive.
That makes sense though why like whenever Magnolia goes to her and they're both crying is because she feels guilty. I think she feels so guilty, but she can't just tell her because they're like sworn to the secrecy. But it's like
that
she's
Jonah
not
came
her
up with.
friend. Yeah.
That if roles were reversed, they would have drug her through the streets, back the
Yep.
bus right back over her.
Yep.
Like there would have been no grace. I mean,
No.
she multiple times BJ calls her a slut, and I was like,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
so
Like, you have
done.
no room to
Yeah,
talk about
like,
that. Yeah, because if it was her and Henry, for an example, like if something happened there and they found out that her and Henry had
They
slept
treat her-
together,
Yep.
she would have been disgraced. She probably
Yeah.
would have been booted from this friend group
Look what they
thing.
did to Kristen.
She would have been,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
but
But
And
BJ
it's
and
like-
Polly just get
Yeah.
a pass.
Oh my gosh,
Mhm.
you're so
Okay.
right. So
Yeah, they
Magnolia
beat-
and Christian can't get together, but
Yeah,
you
they
can
beat the
sleep with
shit
her
out of
best
him.
friend
And
and
lie about it.
exactly.
It's so hypocritical.
Yeah.
I
It
know.
is.
And then
Yeah.
I also think back to like the moments of like Jonah saying shit. Okay, I don't like Jonah. I'm gonna put it out there. I think
It's okay,
I don't
yeah.
like him.
Me neither.
I
His
don't
little
either.
snide comments to Magnolia when he's the one that came up with this master plan where we can't tell Magnolia what happened, but then you're
Mhm.
gonna sit here and be like, oh, because you're here with Tom England. That's why he's all upset.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And going back to some of our other episodes, another Ja name that just
Oh!
so happens to be trash.
The Jane, I know. I know. Ay, ay, ay. Oh.
Oh,
Okay, that's
no.
like,
It starts with a
Why?
B.
It's
Yeah.
definitely not like it's so funny, right? Like I don't know if you guys like I was totally brought up and raised with that whole like treat others the way that you want to be treated.
Yeah.
And
I used to have to say that before school every day. My mom would drop
this
us
is
off.
not no,
Yeah.
Yeah.
none of you are
Mhm.
obviously doing that.
Yeah.
Trash,
Yeah.
trash, 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 trash,
No,
trash.
seriously. Because now she has to reflect on like who her actual friends are
Yeah.
because
Nobody.
it's
Brooke
such
is her
huge-
friend. Her sister is her friend.
Oh,
I love
yeah.
Bridget.
I
Yeah.
love her too.
spunky.
She's amazing. Yeah.
But she's also has a relationship with BJ. Like, she's also
Mhm.
really close with BJ. So even there, like,
Friends with a
you
traitor.
would feel a little bit different. Like,
Well,
this
no,
betrayal
I
is kind of
do-
another level.
I view Bridget and Henry very similarly. They both
Yeah.
really attempt to be voices of reason.
Yeah.
In a lot of like, Bridget even comes out and is like, "You need therapy. You need therapy."
That was a
Therapy.
great quote.
Like,
Because I agree. Yeah, completely.
Yeah.
so I don't know. I don't dismiss her for having a connection and for having a friendship with BJ, because I think that Bridget is empathetic enough of a person that like she sees his need for connection, for relationship, and she says, "I will be your friend."
Yeah.
You know?
I just
And-
feel like if it were you, like, I would have a hard time. Like, this would never
Yeah.
happen. But, like,
Yeah.
if you were, like, hanging out with someone that cheated on me, I would feel differently about this.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah,
I just would.
no, that's valid. That's valid. And I do think that Magnolia gives Bridget a little bit of a hard time.
Yeah.
Like she doesn't like that Bridget and BJ have a friendship.
Yeah.
True.
But I mean, also like bringing it back to the whole like found family idea too, like they sleep in the same bed together. Like her parents are at the breakfast table or at the dinner table. Where's BJ? Like,
Yeah.
is he coming for dinner?
They encourage
Like,
the toxic
that's
environment
not-
because they themselves are toxic.
It's a yeah.
Makes sense.
Can we talk about Henry at the end? Because they're
Yeah.
just like, oh.
Yes.
So they're like fighting in the street, of course, screaming at each other. She's like, "You're never gonna touch me again." And he like goes to grab her, and Henry like stops him and is like, "You need to stop," or what? I don't even know what he says.
It's like how you all pull out your books. I love it.
We're like, wait a second. Let me see if I can find it. Well, because I mean, she's literally having a panic attack.
He goes to grab her, and then he says no, and then he says, "You stay the fuck away from her." And I'm like, "Yeah."
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then he
I
says,
was-
"Magnolia, what do you need?" Like, and he's like, in my mind, like, kind of like shadowing her from BJ, and like, what do you need?
Yep.
Like, what do you
He's
need
being
right
her.
now?
He's being a brother. He's being her brother at this point, and I
says,
feel like
"Get
that's
out."
just so. Oh my gosh, that's why I love him so much, because he's her best friend. He's her brother. He's her protector, and he's like, "What do you need? Do you need to get out of here? Like, tell me what you want me to do." And he's just like her person that she really needs at that point, because his brother. Yeah.
So
It's a
yeah.
mess.
Yeah. Should we also talk for a second as we're wrapping up about Julian? Because Julian kind of scares me a little bit.
He scares you?
Just a smidge. Just a smidge.
Why? I'm like,
Why?
Like, go on.
I know, me too. I'm like, ooh, okay.
I'm not
Do
gonna.
tell.
Am I intrigued? Of course, I'm intrigued. I'm
Yeah.
also like, ooh.
But
not-
he's so they meet one night. They end up hanging out, going back to his place, and then she starts crying.
Remind me Julian's connection again. Christian's
Older brother.
okay. I couldn't remember if
Yeah.
it was older brother or who it was. Okay, yeah. So Christian's older brother.
Yeah.
Mm.
And he is like mafia man, essentially.
Yeah.
He's like
so
the
there's-
underground London crime lord
Yes.
or whatever.
So there's also this underlying plot of Christian and Joan, or not. Yeah, I think Joan is involved. And
Yeah.
Julian are like in this drug lord type thing. Okay.
Mhm.
Sprinkle that in there.
Add a little
but-
razzle dazzle.
So they meet, and then he like they go home together, and then she starts crying about BJ, and then he's like, they just like sit and talk, and he makes her breakfast the next morning and sends her on her way. So
Yep.
when they meet again at his birthday party, he like gives her his number and is like, if you need anything, you can always call me. Let me know if you ever need anything. And BJ's
and
like,
I love how everybody
Excuse
in this found family is right. They're all like, do you know how dangerous he is? Why would you do that?
Said yes. Yes,
You're
I
all-
do.
You are all dangerous and destructive yourselves.
Yeah,
Who
we
are
are.
you talking?
And they're
Yeah.
all also like, how do you two know each other? Like, because he invited Magnolia specifically to his birthday. And they're all like, okay.
I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I have no idea.
So at the end of the book, she says to the cab driver to take her to Heathrow.
Yeah, the airport. I was like, well, all right, she's getting out of there.
And where's she going from there? We have no idea.
She's gonna meet Tom in Greece.
I know, right? Wouldn't that be ideal?
Susie says, I'll read that book.
I think you'll like Julian.
Okay.
I
know.
Susie
think
doesn't
she's
seem very
going-
confident.
No, I think she's gonna go meet Tom somewhere. She's gonna go find Tom.
I mean, that's a good theory. Maybe she's going to meet Tom at the end of the book, but also her mom just left. I don't know where her mom went.
I don't think her mom went far though, but she's
No,
going
'cause she
on
shows
an
up in, like,
airplane
gowns.
and she is leaving. I think she's gonna go see Tom. She's going to find him. She knows where he's at.
Hey,
But he warned
What's-
her, I'm not going to be here when I may not be here when you come back after
Yeah.
he hurts you. And I'm like, yeah, Tom, honestly, good for you. Like,
yeah. I do
Yeah.
also know more about the series than
she's like, I'm trying not to ruin it.
I probably should.
Yeah, you're like,
so-
I'm not saying anything.
I know. I'm excited to read more of this with all of you. I feel like we are each other's emotional support through this.
I
The
know,
text.
seriously.
I hate BJ. Me too.
Yeah.
The tattoos? Are you
Listeners,
kidding me?
we went so far as to make a t-shirt, listener. If you are not watching on YouTube, Allysha is
If you
wearing
read Magnolia
t-shirt
Parks series,
tightly
you may qualify
designed.
for competition.
I'll move this over. And it's great.
Oh
It's wonderful. It's just beautiful. Oh, and then we gotta show the back. Hold on. There's the back.
Oh, you got that.
We love it.
Oh my goodness.
So, do we have any final thoughts before we get into Fancast?
Oh.
I'm just excited to see where this is going to go. And I'm wondering if we're ever going to say, you know what, BJ gets a redemption arc, because at this point, I'm not seeing it yet. I'm not seeing it.
Allysha and Susie need a super strong redemption.
He would
arc.
have to
Yeah.
like save puppies out of a burning building and then donate his kidney to Tom.
I'll
And
write a
then
fan
maybe we
fiction
could
for
talk
you,
about
and then
Right,
let's
and
like
then at
slip
that
it in.
point, save a
These
few
chapters are written a little
squirrels,
differently.
you know.
Revive a grandma. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Final thoughts. Gosh, it's so mixed for me because like I liked it more than I thought I would, for
That
sure.
was me too.
And then also at the same time, because like we were talking, I mean, I can appreciate all of the dysfunction and the chaos that makes me feel a little bit better about my own life.
For real.
But there is a part of it too that's like, I mean, listener, we were also talking before we started recording, and it was like, oh, have any of us like moved on to the next? Like, and some of us here have, some of us haven't. I'm very much like, okay, I know that I'm like super deeply invested in a story, in a series, especially when I can't wait to get to the next one.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that like I've been able to put this book down, read others, and like not really think about it, like that tells me like, okay, it's a series worth reading and I'm committed to like seeing it to the end, but I also, I will. I don't know. I'm such a mix. I don't know. Do you have any final thoughts, Allysha?
No, I couldn't wait to dive in. Like the second
Yeah, because you're reading.
Yep,
Three pages
I'm
now.
already
Okay.
listening. I'm listening to it on Audible, and I'm about like halfway through, and oh my gosh, I can't wait for you guys to read, because
Alicia's like, buckle up.
buckle up. No, seriously, because
It's like a different vibe too. It's
yeah,
a different vibe entirely.
Okay.
it is. It is. It's
Just-
so different.
Do you like it better or not as much?
I like it better because you also get a different perspective outside of this whole Magnolia BJ bubble, from like other point of views, and I just kind of appreciate that. But yeah, just wait until you get into it because oh boy. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, final thoughts for me. I'm glad there's more. Like, I'm glad this is a series, because if this was just, I would be so frustrated. So honestly, like, I'm glad it's a series. This series so far to me is like when I try to get people to like Game of Thrones, like, just get through the first season. It's important. Like, just power through,
Yep.
keep going. It gets better. So that's kind of true. So
There you go. There you go.
I am a messy gal. I'm a fan. Give me all the drama. I love the tension in it. So, like I said, it was 5-star for me. But I like that. I like a book that's just like, are you joking me? Like, huh? You know? And especially because I definitely skip around genre-wise and like different stories and things like that. So going from like something about finding Cleopatra's tomb to like this is like a really good mix-up for me.
yeah.
There you go. There you go.
So
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it.
All
That is
right.
so funny.
Shall we go into Fancast?
Dun, dun, dun,
Go
dun.
for it. Shoot. Who do we picture? Full disclosure, I was outside of potentially Zendaya as Magnolia Parks.
Yeah.
I pretty much pictured the entire cast of Gossip Girl. Outside
Fair.
of that was pretty much it for me.
I almost did Zendaya, but Zendaya is way too much of a bad bitch to be treated
She
like
wouldn't
this.
be.
Like, I was like,
true.
I
Fair.
get where you're going, 110% though.
The look.
Yeah.
Kylie like, she wouldn't put up with that though.
No, she'd, bye. Okay. So Zendaya and then the Gossip Girl cast.
Pretty much. Like, I literally was like, is Chuck Bass BJ?
Yeah.
Oh my
Yes.
god.
Yes, he is.
That is so wow. I had like wow. Okay, I'm having a light bulb over here, like,
100%. That was. I can't even remember what his name is. What is his name? The
Ed
actor that
Westwick.
played Chuck Bass.
I
Okay.
would tell you, but I threw my phone. It's back there somewhere, so I don't know.
Fair.
Oh my
No, I was
goodness.
the same way though. I just thought Gossip Girl cast, and that was just where my headcanon went to. So
Oh my gosh.
I have
Yeah.
specific people.
Yeah.
Do you want to go
Yes,
first?
please.
Yeah, for Magnolia, I had Sabrina Carpenter, because like everybody kept talking about how like beautiful and doe-eyed she is, and all like just like picturesque, like feminine, cute.
Is she too? But also, I mean, Magnolia is Sabrina Carpenter dark enough?
No.
I
No,
don't.
I don't
Okay.
think so.
Okay, because
No.
I was gonna say,
Magnolia
but
is
yes,
black.
I could see that too.
Just
Okay.
my brain had like Kylie and I've had discussions before, but like Kylie usually picks a blonde for a character, and it's starting to happen to me, and I'm like, oh no, it's happening. For BJ,
No, but I could absolutely. I do like that. I like Sabrina Carpenter. Okay. Okay.
I didn't actually have anyone picked for BJ. It literally just says insert generic self-absorbed douche.
Jacob Elordi.
yeah.
Jacob Elordi? Did you say Jacob Elordi? Yes.
She did.
Okay. Yeah, because honestly, what's his name again? Chuck Bass might be a little too old now for BJ.
Yeah. I had a hard time age-wise.
Yeah.
Could he be Tom?
No.
No, because
No.
Tom Hiddleston is Tom.
Mm-mm.
Dreamy, tall, perfect, sweet.
Was that your Tom? Yeah. Tom Hiddleston. That's funny.
I wasn't
Oh
sure
my
how
God.
many
Did you cast
characters
anybody
we were
else?
doing, because I casted Pally, the
Yep.
cheating best friend for Selling Sunset. There's a character on, or not Selling Sunset, Selling OC on Netflix. Polly, because
Yeah.
Okay.
honestly, I could kind of see it.
Okay.
I
And
can see that.
then for Gus, I had Geo from Selling Sunset, just personality-wise. Like, his personality is quick-witted, kind of sarcastic, and it's kind of... And I just
didn't
like
cast
Gus.
him.
Okay. But that's it. That's all I had.
I like it. I like
All
it.
right.
I like it.
I got the crew here.
Ready.
So for Magnolia, I did Laura Harrier, and she was from. I'm gonna say I can show you.
Stunning.
She's
Yes.
from Spider-Man
Oh,
specifically.
she's beautiful.
Yeah, she's very pretty.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yes. I can see that.
So BJ, I actually have two. So
Okay.
and I screenshotted these last night on Pinterest.
Say it from Lucifer.
So his name is Thomas. I'm gonna pronounce this so wrong. Doherty. Like that is
That's
BJ.
Tom Hardy.
Really good. That's
But-
really
you talking
good.
about- Oh, no.
Oh.
She's good at this.
But he
I
does
haven't
a very he does a very clean look most of the time, but I'm like, no, specifically his hair is messy. That is who he is.
Yep.
If you haven't watched The Invitation with him,
I have not, and I need to
Yeah.
get on
It's
that.
so
now.
good.
Okay, then.
but I had a second one for him. So I know he's not blonde, but have you guys watched One Day on Netflix?
Yes.
I've
Yes.
seen clips. I haven't gotten to watch all of it, but I've seen clips.
So,
I have seen it, and I know exactly
Yeah.
where you're going.
Yeah.
Yep.
The main guy
Yep.
I could absolutely
could
see
also
that.
be
Yes.
BJ.
Yes. Yep.
Tom, I did Glenn Powell. I don't think I need to bring him
What
up.
a good choice.
Mhm.
That is so good.
Christian,
What do I know him from?
Top Gun. He was just in the movie with Sydney
Sweeney.
Oh, that's Tom.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Jordan, she's like, oh yes.
And
Sorry.
then
I might need to take my jacket off again.
Yeah, we're all like,
I'm just kidding.
it's already hot in the studio.
I know it is hot.
for Christian, I did Austin Butler.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a
that.
good one.
Yeah.
I
I
did
had
love him as Elvis. Mm.
Yeah.
I
I had
loved
a
him,
really hard time with Henry because I really couldn't find somebody that I was really committed to. So I did go with Cole Sprouse. Very
I
generic.
almost wrote down a Sprouse for this. I
Give
don't
him some
remember who, but-
glasses.
Yep.
Call it a day.
Yeah. Well, and if you've got someone like Austin Butler, like I could see the relatability a little bit,
Yeah.
perhaps.
Well,
Not-
Henry and BJ are related. So Henry.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I'm visualizing them wrong. But
Okay.
okay.
And then Jonah.
I usually can never keep characters straight. Even like halfway through a book, I'll be like, wait, I've known about her the whole time. Whoops.
Okay, this is Jonah. His name is Matthew Nascoza. Pronunciation.
God damn.
So that's Jonah. Because, like, him and Austin Butler could totally be related.
Oh.
Oh yes.
I don't ever want to pick Fancast again. Mine sucked. Like, yours are so good.
Stop.
No, that's good. That's a good
For
one.
Pally, I did
Pally.
Madeline Klein from Outer Banks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I
For-
could see that too.
For Perry, I did Gavin Casalegno from The Summer I Turned Pretty.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Love that. I love that.
For Bridget, I did Storm Reed, and she's from Euphoria. She's the younger sister of
Yep.
Zendaya.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And then Daisy, I did Madison Beer, which might change, but that was my initial.
No, Madison Beer is a good one. No, I like that. That's really good. Usually I'm not detailed, but I was just like I said with the cast, that was like my headcanon. So
Based
So I
on
took
her
an
emotional
hour on that last
maturity.
night.
Yeah.
I would absolutely watch this if it were a show though.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think I would.
oh yeah.
100%.
I'd be
Me too.
tuning in.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's probably the end.
I'm so excited to keep going though.
Yeah.
Me too.
I
That was
mean,
good.
I ran out of my prosecco, but I'll go get more for the next book.
Yeah.
Right, no, seriously.
I would say so. For the next one, we'll be over on Tales Over Tales. So Daisy Hades will be over there.
So, listener, if you are as interested in this series as we have been, be sure you're following both podcasts. Be sure that you're watching, subscribing, and we will continue diving into the destruction and dysfunction that is Magnolia Parks universe.
Yes.
Also, if it's a rage read, that's fine. It can be a rage read. You can still come and join.
Yep.
That too.
I will
that
always
too.
be
Yeah.
angry with somebody.
Fair.
I'm always ready. If you want someone to be mad about something with you,
Facts.
call me. I will get so much more pissed than you could ever be.
She'll
Like,
hype you up.
Well, we are so honored to get to be a part of your show today. So thank you so much for having us. And yes, we look forward to having you on ours when we get to record for Daisy Hates. It'll be so much
Yay!
fun.
Yeah.
I hope that you guys have a really, really great rest of your day. And thank you so, so much. This was so much fun.
Yeah. Thank you for coming.
All
I
right,
don't know what to
then.
do with compliments. I'm just going to shut down. Thanks so much.
I'm just gonna go hide.
If you're not watching this, Susie's like rocking back.
All right. Well, I think that's it from us.
Yep.
Yes.
Like, subscribe, comment,
Follow.
go over details on Tails. Make sure
Like,
you're
subscribe,
subscribed
follow
for that.
them.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
And
we
we'll-
love it. We love it. And until next time, we will
next
see you guys then.
Bye-bye.
Three, two, one.
Okay, you can't say anything.